Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to this month's edition of What Did I Watch This Month? So basically I'm just going to chat about the TV shows I watched and the movies I watched, tell you my thoughts and if I would recommend them or not, similar to what I do with books on this channel as well. So I feel like I didn't watch that much this month, so we'll see how this goes. But the first and honestly most exciting thing that I watched this month was New Girl. I just started watching the show this year for the first time and I got through the first 2 seasons this month, so it's actually pretty good. That would be definitely the thing that I've watched the most with my boyfriend. If you guys don't know, it's the show that has Zooey Deschanel and don't know the other actors' names, but it's about her character Jess, who is forced to move in with 3 other guys when her and her boyfriend break up and the funny situations that they get in, and it's honestly so funny. And I've seen a lot of like tweets about it recently, so I think other people are discovering the show right now as well, probably due to the pandemic. People have moved on from The Office and Friends and they're like needing a new sitcom, and if that is you, I would definitely recommend New Girl. It is so funny, especially the characters of Nick and Schmidt, in my opinion, are just hilarious. The actors are so good with their comedic timing. Like, they don't just rely on funny lines, you know, it's actually like how they perform is so funny. It is also a great show if you are into shipping fictional couples. There's 2 main couples on the show that are really cute, especially the one that involves Jess. I don't want to be too spoilery, but there is definitely a new OTP for me on this show. It's definitely a will they won't they, dragged out sort of friendship first romance, which I love. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Another show I completed this month was I Am Not Okay With This, which was on Netflix. Now, I decided to watch this after I found out it got canceled, so that is on me. I should not probably have done that because I liked the show and it ended on a huge cliffhanger and I'll never get to find out what happened. So I don't really recommend watching this now that we know it's canceled, because it was a pretty cute show and we're just never gonna get more episodes. It was that show that had the girl from It, and it was about her life honestly just sucking, and then she develops these powers that are very similar to Carrie. We don't really fully get to see the extent of her powers. They're kind of like uncontrollable. She's trying to get them under control. There's some romance in it, friendship in it. It's really short to watch. I would definitely recommend it normally, except for the fact that it got canceled, so don't get invested when you're just gonna get disappointed. The next show I started watching and really have been enjoying is Dynasty, which I've been watching on Netflix. Not sure if it airs anywhere else. This is basically like a rich people drama, so similar to Gossip Girl, I guess, although I never watched Gossip Girl. In terms of shows I have seen, it's very similar to the show called Revenge, if you guys have heard of that one. But it's basically about a family dynasty, very rich family, and the drama that comes along with it. You know, there's murders, there's stealing, there's sex and crazy stuff going on. I got onto season 2 this month, and yeah, it's definitely not like the best show in terms of like acting, performances. Like, you're not going there for the performances, you're going there for the drama. So if you're someone that's really into just like relationship drama, business drama, would recommend Dynasty. I've been loving it. The last show I want to talk about is Trinkets. So season 2 of this show came out and it was also the last season. So if you guys haven't heard of this show, it's about these 3 girls who all meet in this sort of AA type meeting, only it's for people who steal and have this compulsion or addiction to shoplifting basically. And so the 3 of them all bond over that and get into a lot of trouble, but they also build this really nice friendship and almost like family between the 3 of them. Each of them has different things going on. It is on Netflix, so there's pretty good rep for, you know, LGBTQ plus and other like social issues like domestic abuse or like abusive relationships, racism, other stuff, you know. But I will say this show is not quite my favorite. I think it's because I am no longer a teenager, so watching shows about teenagers in high school just can be very weird when they are doing all this crazy stuff that is so unrealistic. Like, this is one of those shows where you're like, this is just very unrealistic in terms of like them being in high school and doing all this stuff, and it's not really good in terms of being like a good role model for teens. I feel like there's a lot of bad behavior that is sort of glamorized. There's not always repercussions for things that they do. Sometimes there are, but a lot of times there are not any repercussions for like drinking, drugs, stealing. So be aware of that. I guess I would only recommend it if you are like old enough to know the difference between right and wrong already, but it again is a very entertaining show, has a lot of like teen drama going on, so I did enjoy it, and I'm a little sad that it's not coming back. I actually want to take a minute and do a little update on Big Brother 22, which is the all-star season. I just want to say that I'm very disappointed in this season. At this point when I'm filming, I am no longer really invested in any of the players remaining other than Tyler, as they have gotten out all my favorite players and it has just been very predictable and annoying to watch. So that's kind of all I have to say about Big Brother. So now we'll go on to the movies I watched. The first one was Delirium, which was so long ago now, it's hard for me even to recall, but I know that it had Topher Grace in it from that 70s show, and that was one of the reasons we wanted to watch it, and it was also like a horror thriller movie as well. So since it's the spooky season, actually this would be a good movie to watch right now because I do remember enjoying it. I think it was about this guy who's about Topher Grace's age, and he gets out of some sort of mental institution type place. I never know what to call those now. I don't think that's the proper word. He gets out and he goes to live at his old house, or like his father's house, and then it's essentially like a creepy haunted house vibe, and he has some issues like delusions, so you don't know if what he's seeing is just a delusion because his meds aren't working, whatever, or if it's real. And I'll leave it at that because I can't really remember anything else. Another movie I watched this month, again this seems like so long ago, but it was American Psycho, so with Christian Bale. This is sort of like a classic movie that I had never seen before, and again I really enjoyed watching this. We love Christian Bale, and the movie was another one that really made you think even to the end, so be warned, like it's sort of an open ending for like your interpretation, and it definitely caused a lot of conversation between me and my boyfriend trying to figure out what we think happened, looking up things online. So if you like movies where you're constantly analyzing things throughout and trying to figure out what's going on, then I would recommend this one. It also has a lot of, I guess, social commentary as well. But yeah, it's about this man, forget his name now, but he works at like the stocks, what is that called? Whatever, and he's just like this rich white businessman surrounded by a bunch of other privileged men around him, right? And then he is killing people. I don't know how to describe it to make it sound good, but it was. Another movie I watched, which was like a creepy movie, was called Mercy, which I think we found on Amazon Prime or Netflix, I can't remember. I liked the premise of this because it was a bunch of brothers going back home due to, I think, their mother's death, or she was sick, and then creepy things start happening, they start dying, whatever. Go into it. It wasn't exactly what I expected, and it was not very good from what I remember. Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend this movie if it comes up for you. Another movie I watched was I Am Thinking of Ending Things, which if you guys didn't watch my reading wrap up, I actually read this book before I watched the movie, and I really enjoyed the book. I read it in like a day, and I was super pumped for the movie and to see what they did with it, and I was so disappointed. I literally put it on for my mom and her boyfriend, and we were all excited to like show them, let them see the story, and they were so bored watching it, and so were we. It was honestly embarrassing that I was like showing it to someone, and needless to say, they did not finish it. Me and my boyfriend ended up finishing it just to see what they ended up doing with it in the end, and it was really terrible in my opinion. So it was boring, it was confusing, it was so different from the book that the overall message was different in my opinion. There's no way you could get the same message from both, and I would just not recommend this movie whatsoever. And I would also say that if you've seen the movie and you hated it, definitely give the book a chance because it is a lot different, a lot more of a thriller with a great twist, not a weird confusing one. Yeah, that's That's my opinion. Another movie I watched was The Devil All the Time. So this was on Netflix, and it's the one that had Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Bill Skarsgård, like Sebastian Stan, like a whole lot of actors that are well known. And I basically did just watch it for the actors, to see them, and I didn't actually think I was gonna like the movie that much because it like takes place in the South and like in the past, and I was like, this is gonna be boring. But I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It was disturbing at times, for sure. Definitely upsetting things happen, so be aware of that. Trigger warnings for assault and stuff like that, but I actually did enjoy this. It left me with a satisfied feeling at the end, I guess. Basically, it's about this kid in high school who, well, actually we get like flashbacks to like him and his dad. And anyways, he gets orphaned and then goes and lives with this other family, and then he's really close with like his adopted sister, and then they live in like a religious place, obviously, and then I don't even know how to explain it. There's like murders going on that you see, and there's a bunch of different storylines. Robert Pattinson was the creepy priest. Hated him. He did a good job, I guess, with his role, but he was really creepy. Tom Holland also impressed me, seeing him do more of a serious role that wasn't just like Spider-Man being like a dumb kid. I actually was quite impressed with him in this role. Another movie I watched a lot of movies apparently, was All Together Now on Netflix. This was so depressing. I wanted so much from this film. When I initially saw like the poster for it, which is a bunch of teens all sitting around, which I'm probably showing on the screen now, I was like, great, another fun teen movie with a group of friends. Like, I love that premise. And that was not what it gave me. It gave me really depressing things happening to this one girl. We don't see that much of her interactions with her friends and other people. We see it a bit, but not as much as I would like. There was not really any comedy in it. As I said, very depressing. Really felt bad for that girl. Nice ending. With a movie that's sad, you obviously gotta have a good ending. But yeah, I would definitely not watch this if you want like a feel-good movie. And the last movie I'm going to talk about is Enola Holmes, which stars Millie Bobby Brown, aka Eleven from Stranger Things, and she is Sherlock Holmes' sister, which is apparently based on a book series about the same premise. I was pumped for this. I love Sherlock Holmes. Henry Cavill was in it as Sherlock, and Sam Cleflin was in it as Mycroft, and I was really pumped for this. And I would say overall I was a little bit disappointed. I found that the storyline was a little bit hard to understand. There was so much going on, and I also didn't realize that it was so intended for kids. Like, this is more of like a kids movie, and I wasn't really aware of that. I thought that the brothers would be more involved. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I expected. I did overall enjoy it. I thought Millie Bobby Brown did a really good job. She's great. And I loved her little love interest. They were super cute. But I would say the overall like plot of the movie was a little bit confusing. I don't know if they were trying to fit in multiple book storylines into one movie. But yeah, it just wasn't the most perfect movie for me. So I would recommend this for more of like a younger audience. So that's basically all that I watched this month. And what would be the top thing that I recommend this month? Would have to be New Girl. As you could probably tell, that was the one I was most excited to talk about. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this month's wrap up of what I watched. Let me know if you watched any of these down in the comments and what you thought, and go check out my reading wrap up as well to see what I read. Please subscribe, and talk to you guys later. Peace.